Alf, today we make the case why Prismatic Evolutions is the greatest modern set for Pokemon cards for investment in quotation marks. I always say investment in quotation marks because really to me this is speculation. We're not buying stocks, we're not buying real estate. This is trading cards, this is cardboard.
Yeah.
So I look at it as speculation. But the Pokemon community likes to say investing and investment, whatever. But I'm going to make the case for Prismatic because it just keeps on killing over time as we continue to go on. Before I dive in though, I've got affiliate links for you guys to take advantage, save some money in this hobby that is not getting any cheaper. PSA, $25 off your first submission over at PSA with the SCD25 promo code at the shipping and billing screen. Just a one card minimum to try out PSA. And we've also got a bunch of other promotion codes for Slab Mags, for nooffseason.com, for market movers. Make sure to check those out, save some money this year in 2026. All right, Prismatic Evolution. So I've been paying attention to this on Arizona TCG. Pay attention to set value and PSA 10 values. And Prismatic just stands out. To be clear, I'm a novice in the Pokemon card space. I have not been collecting cards for my whole life. I don't have the nostalgia that a lot of the newer collectors, a lot of the collectors today, the 30, 35-year-olds in Pokemon really have. I'm about to turn 45, so Pokemon came out a little bit towards the end of my childhood as I was in college and so forth. So I don't have that same sort of love that a lot of the longtime collectors do, but I hold a lot of the sealed stuff because I believe in the IP long term, and my kids, especially my youngest son, really enjoys collecting Pokemon cards. So I'm involved in it, absolutely, for sure. This set stands out when you look at the SIRs. This is why I prefaced it with I'm not a huge longtime creator, because there's always a lot of talk about the artwork. You know, the artwork of this set versus that set. The SIRs in Prismatic are just amazing looking cards. And again, that's coming from somebody I'm just not a big Pokemon card collector. They're awesome. You've got the Umbreon, you've got the Sylveon, the Leafeon, Espeon, etc. It is the only modern card set that has all 8 of the Evolutions. There's a focus around Eevee in this set, which makes it even more popular. And when you look at the set value on Arizona TCG, it's sitting at $3,600 currently. It's about a year old. This thing was released January 17th of last year, so right at about a year old. They've still got to print more of it. PSA 10 set value at about $18,500. It's still strong, especially when you compare it against other sets, whether it be Scarlet Violet or even if we're talking about going back to Sword and Shield. Look at the set values. Go back to some of the Sun and Moon set values. You know, a lot of the sealed products are expensive, but when you really break down, like, what are the chase cards in these sets, you know, Prismatic really stands out. Then you also add in the fact that the hit rates are not great. It is tough to pull these cards. And you go down the list. I was looking at Arizona TCG. You're 30 cards deep. 30 cards deep before you get to sub $20 cards. Now compare that to other sets that are in Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, just compared to other sets. Granted, I understand that as they print more, there's more supply, there's more volume, which probably brings that overall dollar amount down some over time, but it still speaks to how strong this set is, how popular the characters are in this particular set. So again, it just got released about a year ago. However, you know, we've got the Pokemon company that's got a whole new era that's out now with Mega Evolutions. They've got all the pressure to print those. And while, yes, there will be more Prismatic printed, I'm sure of it, it just feels like, man, this is a really strong set when you look back at the era. Just common sense tells you when you look at it that it's like, man, this thing is humming along. It's going to be popular over the long term, I believe, just based on these factors. I really wish there was booster boxes of this product. Of course, there's not. It's one of these kind of special sets. I have mentioned in a previous video, I really want to get more of the premium collection boxes. They've dropped. I bought a couple at about $300, which at the time was okay. Maybe they're going to continue to go up. Now they're sitting at about $225, and I really need to buy. I feel I need to buy really quite a bit more at that price point. I also have a handful of the PC ETBs. I think that those are going to do well over time as well. But as we kind of look at these new sets coming out, further away we get from these older sets. We know with Pokemon card collecting, speculating, investing, the older these sets get, the more and more they get opened because the rip and ship business, I've heard from a variety of different folks, the rip and ship business ain't slowing down in 2026, still very popular, and you're just seeing kind of that rise of live selling and streaming in general. A lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers that are really popular, and people like that for them to open up the product and then ship it out to them. So the rip and ship business, that personal break, it just doesn't seem to be slowing down in the Pokemon space at all. And as we come up on that 30th anniversary, I don't necessarily look at 30th anniversary as being like, oh, this is when it really like pops off. I heard another couple of pokey YouTubers talking about the whole Logan Paul selling his chain, selling his $5 million Illustrator card, PSA 10, and how that's going to add fuel to the fire, or maybe already has. I'm not really sure. This is always kind of a tricky thing, because sometimes that signals the top of a market. And when we say top, it's like the top for now. The top for now, because really it probably just means plateau. And that's really what I would like to see. I've talked about it in recent videos. I'd love for 2026 to be a plateau for prices along a lot of the Sword and Shield boxes, the Scarlet Violet stuff. I would love for it to just be flat in 2026. I don't necessarily think that is going to happen, but hopefully it's just kind of modest. I know there's a lot of people who think this is nuts. You want it to double every single year, but that's just not going to be sustainable realistically. It won't be sustainable over time, and that's what I'm really looking forward to, is sustainability over time. I don't mind if these things, of course, start popping off and jumping big as time goes on. 5 years, 10 years down the road. If it's 10x, 10 years down the road, then okay, that actually makes sense to me based on demand, assuming demand for Pokemon stays where it is and we continue on. I mean, think about how many new sets will be out between now and 10 years from now, and we're sitting here talking about Prismatic Evolutions, just one little set, that I think is going to be one, though, that really carries forth as we move forward. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I'm not somebody it's not a brand new idea. I'm not someone that just came up with this. I know there's a lot of folks that look at this set and kind of seeing the same thing that I am. It's like common sense just smacking you right in the face as to what this set means, the popularity of it, and just the great looking cards. Again, the SIRs in particular, I can't say enough about those. And again, I'm saying this from someone that's not a big Pokemon guy. I just think those cards look great. I've been kind of waiting and waiting. I'd like to have PSA 10s of a lot of those. The Umbreons, the Sylveon, the Leafeon. I've been kind of waiting to get kind of through the print run, hoping that some of those prices subside down on the PSA 10s to where I can get in at a fairly reasonable price. And then over time, I think that they do pretty well. Again, just kind of stacking that in with the sealed product and then also with some of the vintage buys that I've got. I don't have any vintage boxes because we've seen the price points. I've got some old vintage packs, which I think are interesting as a hold. And then I've just got singles, kind of the usual stuff that a lot of people look at, kind of those first edition, those early first edition cards that I just think are going to age like fine wine, like we know that a lot of Pokemon stuff has done. So again, let me know your thoughts here. Prismatic Evolutions, are you still feeling great about the set? Or are you thinking, you know what? I like this new era. I'm going to go more in on this new era. I think it's going to be better. Or I'm looking at Sword and Shield, because that's the other problem too that I have. Just where to allocate capital. Should I be buying Surging Sparks boxes, just more and more of those at what, 225 or 230 or whatever those are sitting at, 240? It just feels like a bargain when you compare it against, brand new sets that come out and they're sitting at $250 to $300 for a booster box. Should I be buying more of kind of the stuff that's aged a little bit? It's always a tough question. Friends, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to get your PSA discount if you're a first-time submitter over there, SCD25 code at the shipping and billing screen, and you just need one card to try them out. All right, I will talk to you again later, my friends. Have a good one.